views of the One Love podcast are not necessarily the views of the owners of Factory Street Studios. Viewer discretion is advised.
Amen. Nice fade.
Nice fade.
Right on top of it, Alec. Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the One Love podcast with myself, the Urbaniser, Alex Eden, and Liam Rufus Tubbs, and our guest Ben Buddy Slack. Nice to meet you, mate.
Nice to meet you.
How
are we doing? Nice to meet you, Alex.
As if, yeah.
Likewise.
Okay, so it's on to our only regular feature, which is what beer we're drinking.
What beer are we drinking today?
Well, we're starting off with my favourite wheat beer. This one's Austrian. Let me just put some of that in it first. You got to give it a little swizzle when you get to the last third because it's a wheat beer, and the sediment, you need to just wake the sediment up. It's my favourite wheat beer out of them all, and I think I've probably tried them all. I'm not saying it's the only good one, but it's Franziskaner Weiss beer.
It's remarkably difficult to do. Look at one thing and try and point at another.
That's stunning. You tend to find that, you tend to find that some of the Weiss beers have kind of a banana-y kind of aroma and aftertaste. This one is no exception.
We had a Theakston Stout. That's all it was apparently.
Right.
This candle thing I did on Saturday. Kate brought me it, and I was sure it was like a chocolate stout. It was freaking lovely. It was like really. I mean, that's my kind of drink, a stout.
Yeah, I do. Well, I like this. I like the strong,
really rich
the strong dry
coffee.
stouts if you can get them. Because obviously the stronger beer gets the sweeter it tends to be. But stout in particular, if you get a nice strong one, but it's reasonably dry, I really do enjoy them. So that's Franziskaner Weiss beer. Right then, so tell us a bit about yourself, Ben, and we'll dive in with questions as and when they come to us.
Okay. So I'm the acting frontman of the Blind Dead McJones band. Acting in the absence of Blind Dead McJones.
Yeah, no, I know he never turns up.
Yeah, he's not turned up in many years. He's still about, he's there in spirit and that, and he Skypes me from time to time.
So effectively the backing band become the fronting band.
Yeah, that's it. So,
Wicked.
and I'm quite enjoying the position of acting frontman. It's a step up in responsibility and that from just being a guitar player. But
does he still take a cut?
Oh yeah, he takes his cut is 99.9%. But the total net profit for the year last year was 45p. So
But
So
you had a
pretty
profit.
hefty postal order.
A band, everyone, that has a profit that's not working for I'm going to say ICI for EMI. Sorry, carry on.
So yeah, that's it. That's my main musical project. I'm just started doing some solo work this year.
Under the name Ben Buddy Slack.
Under the name Ben Buddy Slack. That's what I remember me and you talking about it here. It was the conversation that spiraled me to do it. So thanks, Alex.
Yeah, sorry about
But I'm enjoying it. It's nice. It's nice to change things up a bit, isn't it?
And
do
is that
something different?
Is that solo with an acoustic guitar as opposed to electric?
with acoustic guitar. Yeah, so that's going good so far.
That'd be nice to hear an example of both if you've got one line. We'll do that a little bit later, but nice.
Yeah. I do bits of teaching work. So I've been trying to, it's that thing when you're a musician and you really love doing music stuff, but it's very hard to make any money more than 0.1% of 45p.
Yeah.
Over a year. So it's how do you make the money out of it?
Yeah, exactly.
So I've been labouring for years as well. I still have to do a lot of labouring work, which I like because it's stress free, pretty much. You know, there's not much stress in digging holes.
It's interesting that whole thing about unpaid musicians and the construction industry.
Yeah.
There seems to be
There's
a
lots of
teaching.
Yeah.
well, yeah, and teaching, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, you both taught rock school.
Right.
There's a connection there, you know.
Yeah. And we both
Factory Street
have worked
rock
on building sites.
Yeah.
All three of us, anyway. You know. Sorry, carry on.
But yeah, I like the labouring work. It's kind of, but I like it in moderation. I'd like to not have to depend on it as much.
Yeah. Well, it'd be great if a dedicated, talented, and enthusiastic musician got paid a living wage, wouldn't it?
It would be.
Folks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it'd be a luxury.
yeah.
So I can't help but just laughing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I've always said, when I'm king at World, I'm going to disseminate all these massive record companies, take all the gross net takings, and then see how many bands throughout the country that we can give 20 grand a piece to just tour, and even if it's not for a lifetime, give a band 3 years worth of living wages to then build themselves a following and sell albums and stuff, or at least give them the opportunity.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm going to do when I'm king at World.
Well, I remember once being told about a scheme that they had in Holland, which was probably just in the land of fairy tales, but I never managed to find out about it. Yeah, in Netherlands. In the Netherlands. He's on fire.
See what he did there.
See what he did. Where they were, in order to encourage working musicians to move to the Netherlands. Sorry, I'm on phone duty today as well.
Fucking hell.
Hello? Come on in.
Anybody
it's
else?
always the singer who's late.
Don't anybody else?
Tell me
Well,
about it.
at least you want the drum.
How do you know when they're knocking on the door?
Yeah.
Can't find the key. Don't know when to come in.
So you were saying about
So in the Netherlands,
Netherlands.
because they wanted to encourage people to be professional musicians over there. If you could prove that you'd done 100 paid gigs in Britain in a year, or it was only 50 or something like that, but you could move over there and that you would get paid a certain amount of money for your startup over sort of 3 years, or they phase it out or whatever. And
can we check that? Because I'm going next
exactly.
week.
I've tried to find out about it many times in my life. You know, those low ends that you
right, to no avail.
Yeah, but
maybe
if
they
anybody
did
knows
actually-
about it, then do
Yeah,
let
please
us
get in
know.
touch.
We'll try and go.
But
and earn a living.
maybe just as Ben suggested, maybe they were talking about Neverland and they run that scheme.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
And there's only
when I'm king of the world.
and there's only Peter
in
Pan.
Neverland.
Peter Pan allowed to.
He's a mean sax player, that Peter Pan.
But yeah, I thought that was great. But on a related note, I think somewhere like that is a great place to try and earn a living if you want to be a touring musician. So you could, if you lived somewhere like the Netherlands, you've got thousands of gigs within a drive, haven't you? And they pay money and they feed you food and put you up.
Throughout Europe,
when
it
you
seems.
play over there, it's quite a different place.
Yeah. Throughout Europe, it seems to be the case that you could make a decent living touring because, I don't know, is it because, the new musical trends and therefore the desire to be authentic within those trends stems from this country? I don't know. I mean,
well, in a similar way to like in the blues scene, if you've got an American musician coming to Britain, they're more, it's more original or real, perceived to be that way than the British musicians. If you're a British musician, you go to Europe, then I think it's less so now, but I think there was an element of, there's always been an element of kind of, they're real British musicians. There's also, the theory that because it's such a struggle for musicians in Britain, that's why we produce so many good ones. If there wasn't
There's
the fight,
a hell of a lot of competition, yeah.
if there wasn't that melting pot, I mean, we have more musicians per head of population than anywhere else in the world in Britain. It's like these are and we earn more money per head of population for things like songwriting than any other country and stuff. So we are the most prolific songwriters in the world,
right.
and where that comes from, who knows? I guess it's a melting pot of cultures, the empire and all that sort of stuff. But also, I think the challenge of just trying to do it. I think it's because there's so much competition, because there's so little money involved. You are motivated more powerfully. I went to see a gig in Den Haag, which is like the capital city in Netherlands, in case anyone didn't know.
I didn't know.
Sorry.
The Hague for
Yeah.
the Yorkshire.
And they were a covers band, and they were great, really good covers band. And afterwards, I got talking to the guy who was kind of running it, and I was like, "So, have you got an original project that you do?" And he's like, "There's no point. I can earn a living doing this."
Oh, what? What?
Yeah, exactly.
That's some response.
It was this kind of sense of like if it's too easy.
Yeah.
If it's too easy, you go out, you play.
No, that's
you don't have to be very good. You don't have to,
And
not to denigrate any musicians from anywhere in the world, because I've worked with some incredible musicians from everywhere now, and it's just
you're right. It is a competition thing.
Yeah.
Well, or even it's the idea of having real heroes within your community, really, to look up to. Some of the people that I kind of, the likes of Dusty Miller, people that I had a kind of unofficial apprenticeship.
John
with.
Strong.
All these really good musicians that are only 20 years older than us. You go, I want to be like that, and I suppose if it's not there, I mean, I went around France for 2 months last year, with my wife, and I saw maybe 3 bands. One was had the full setup, the big aluminium stage,
outdoor stage in the square. Like,
they
do a lot of that over there, which is brilliant.
Yeah, but I mean, there was it was like a Clannad type affair.
You're not endearing me to it.
No, but I mean, if you walked into a town's of, for fuck's sake, clear it off.
The One More Podcast, everybody.
Come on in, room 6.
Yeah, I'd just like to point out that this is the wonderful surroundings of Factory Street Studios. I forgot to mention that, just in case this is your first podcast. And so, basically, I saw a few bands. They were all mediocre.
Yeah.
Kind of half-assed attempts at the styles they were going for, which weren't indigenous styles, if you like. The only one band I did see that were good, it was a kind of
French
double bass player, fiddle and accordion with what I would assume were sort of traditional French music, and it's perfect. Just do that.
Because everybody knew how to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody does it better than you.
Get on with it.
Well, I mean, on that same subject but related, I started thinking just then about how the difference between the American music and the British music, and when we went over to Memphis that time, I remember being quite surprised that bands over there would have to play for like 4 hours. So they do 4-hour-long sets in an evening, and so a lot of it's laid back, slow grooves, long solos, all of that. You come over here, and your kind of original indie music scene is 45 minutes if you're a headline act.
Yeah.
30. So like no wonder there's this kind of punk explosion goes on, and even with the same sorts of music, like in blues and stuff, you get the American bands are very much more is groove, long, drawn out stuff, and British bands are much more God, let's have it, and that's
apart from Paul Middleton band.
Well,
that song's
there's
50,
there's
that
always
50 minutes
exceptions.
long.
There's always exceptions to every rule, isn't there?
Yours, do you prefer long or short, Ben?
We a bit of both. I'd say now with more. Yeah, how I feel on the night. Most of our stuff's more punchier today now.
Do you have room to move within your songs, or are they all sort of?
Yeah, we have a lot of
really
room to move in them. They're a lot more strict than they used to be. But we used to like noodle for ages, and we just kind of
pointless stuff.
Yeah, and so just pull out the unnecessary stuff and keep the essence of what the.
But that happens over the years of playing the same songs as you develop them into you refine them, don't you? And so they become sort of more rigid what you do. But the bits where you go off on one, you're more likely to go right off, but you all know where to come back to. That's always a pleasure.
Could I also just point out at this point that myself and Mr. Rufus went to Beat Herder Festival this last weekend. This weekend just gone, and anybody that's been watching this podcast will be familiar with Rufus's HPPD. It's reduced. I think I'm fair in saying it's reduced to such as a point that that Rufus felt himself emotionally and physically capable of going and having a bit of a party.
Yeah.
And that happened, didn't it, Rufus?
That I'd say party times 10, mate.
Yeah. I've never seen anybody actually walk a straight line, but do it in circles. Really impressive. Mate.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, not even weaving side to side, but actually going forward, then walking backwards and going round. So you won't hear much out of Liam tonight, just so you know why. That's all good.
So what got you into music then?
Watching my uncle play. That's what it was. Yeah, it was nice.
That's the lull, I know. And now we've messed it up, mate. Yeah. Anyway, Karen.
My uncle used to play. He still does play. But I remember going to watch him when I was probably like 12 or 13 in pubs, and it was just like it's like the coolest thing in the world, when you're that age to go in a pub, especially when it's watching your uncle. But I'd always look, he's always been a big hero of mine anyway, my uncle. But then watching him play in a pub, and it's all the old Irish stuff. It's all the Pogues and the Whiskey in the Jar and the Wild Robe and that kind of stuff. And everyone's singing. And I just thought it looked like great fun. And went to Edinburgh one New Year's. I was probably 13, 14, something like that. And I just remember New Year's, I went up with my uncle. New Year's Eve, he got the guitar out and started singing, and everyone was having a great time. And I was just sat there and I was like, I want to do that. That's it. He's just got that thing out of the box, and everyone's having a great time. I want to be able to do that.
Yeah,
and that was all. That was all I wanted to do. Was just so I got a guitar, and it was great. Because then he taught me how to play, and it was great fun for me. It wasn't like having lessons that are boring and like in that scale, and it was just play this song with me. So it was great, and then played with him for a good couple of years. But then, so it was interesting when I got into doing blues and into bands and stuff like that, because I'd never had no interest in that at first. I just wanted to play guitar at like house parties and stuff like that. And just have a bit of fun with it.
No, just that, and I recognise that totally. It's not. I mean, I didn't have anybody to teach me to play, so I was that kid who sat in his bedroom with his Cream and Jimi Hendrix and Led Zeppelin tapes. Rewinding them and how do I do that? It took me 3 times longer than anybody else to learn to play, but I do recognise that absolute enthusiasm. You get home and you be on your guitar, and not because you think, I better get some practice in. It's just like it's your life. It's like you can't wait to get home so you can, and
Yeah, I find it interesting when you meet musicians, and there seems to the dividing line of ones that have that attitude, that music's the passion, and it's that they love doing it, and there's ones that it's like, well, I have to do this because it has to be technically this, and it has to be the more, you know,
would you say
theoretical.
Would you say that
side.
Oh yeah, no, maybe not. But there's also the kind of sub-genre of, and I'm not denigrating either side at all, but you can play covers and make money.
Yeah, there's
To
people who do it for
to
a living.
people who
don't
are
they?
interested,
Yeah.
or you can try and scoop out of you whatever's in there and put it on your instrument and call it your own. But unless you're very, very lucky, that's all you know. There's not a living to be made out of that.
Certainly not just that. I think if you do that and you have a good business head and you know about sales and you.
But that goes again. I
devote
suppose
that
that's what I'm
energy
trying to
to
say.
it.
But that's kind of, that is generally not the person
No,
who wants
precisely,
to.
and that's one of the I remember we talked about it before, that the death of the music industry is also the death of the kind of, you know, person who gets you out of bed in the morning and puts you on stage because you're fantastic.
The
the
manager,
the tour manager, and people who go, well, I can make money out of you and shiver you through it.
Yeah,
There's no more of that. You have to do it yourself, don't you? Or you don't make money, which is so. And I think a lot of great musicians are kind of accepting that's fine. I don't make money from it. That's all right.
Yeah, because I think
Don't worry.
I think that it's more important to musicians that write their own music that they're accepted by the peers.
Well, to me, the music has to be the most important thing, because if it becomes the thing about money when you're chasing those, what was it, that quote, like, money's just numbers and numbers never end.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
It's,
absolutely.
that's pointless, isn't it? So if the music is no longer interesting, but you're doing it because you're
Making a few quid.
making a few.
Yeah, because that's what I kind of think about it. So it's, you know, people do music just because they like it and because it's what they do.
Yeah.
There's people who do it for another reason other than like it's coming from themselves. That it's
Yeah.
because I like it with a lot of musicians. You just come by doing it. I don't really know. I just do it. It's just what I do. I just like.
Yeah.
If I didn't, I'd have a vague sense of
Yeah.
dissatisfaction in my
I
life.
don't.
Yeah.
Or not vague.
I
Very
have,
powerful sense of dissatisfaction.
I have a very
Once
a
you've
very
discovered
straight.
it.
Yeah, I have a very straightforward answer to that, and that's just that it's playing guitar, at least in a band, is like a catharsis. It's like speaking to a counsellor, or it's getting out what is in you that you cannot convey
Use
in words. And you know, we say this all the time, especially between us in the Paul Middleton band, is that one of us always turns up either pissed off, so tired they can
Stressed,
hardly,
just feeling
stressed out, pissed off, don't feel well, and then you know, after the first half, you just go, I feel great. Are you all right? Yeah, sound.
Everybody's on the same wavelength. But like, it's a very interesting process that you can immediately tell. You walk on stage and with somebody, you play music with you can tell watching them, but like most vividly, somebody goes, oh yeah, we'll jam or whatever. Straight away, you know what type of person that person is. As soon as 3 notes in, you're like, I know all about you. And enough to make a decision whether I want to get to know you off stage or whether I just want to keep you at arm's length. Which a conversation might not have given me, you know, but playing music with someone straight away.
And in addition to that, if you know what somebody's like, if you actually know somebody is, the way they play their instrument on any given day will tell you immediately how they feel. And then, you know, I like sometimes to see people play when they go on cold and over three songs, or there's just one point in a solo or something, you can just see them go and you go, yes mate, in the groove. Like the invasion of the Death Star with the X-wings. Phew, you can just see it. Right, it's off. Great, nice one.
Because it's like we've got a friend, Ollie, who's been through.
That's what I was thinking about.
A bit of a rough patch, and it's kind of a band, but at the moment it's just the two of us struggling to find members, like I've said before. Until you find that member who clicks, then you've got a band. And say for the past 6 months, it's not really, because we've both been going through quite a bit of crap, do you know what I mean? Sure. And then was speaking to him a bit last Friday. I didn't really get much out of him, but as soon as he started playing, I could tell there'd been a change. Do you know what I mean? You just see it, because it's the purest form of expression, I think. It's like an artist.
You can't hide behind it.
Yeah, definitely.
Well,
it's
last week when I was doing this project doing Weatherby, I mentioned at the Young Offenders Institute, there's this lad in there, right? So I've got to be careful about what I can say about the ones in there.
You know, absolutely. Yeah.
But one of the lads came into the group and he struggles with a lot of things. It's a lot of trouble and stuff. And he's one of them who's got the attitude that he doesn't know he can't do anything, he can't do music. And he's doing little bits on the keyboard. He came to the day and he was saying, right, kind of, he wasn't in a good mood at all, really. And I was like, what are you going to do? No. I was like, eventually I talked to him about coming and sit on the keyboard. I was like, right, you just start hitting the white notes, any of them at all. And you can see him just kind of getting more and more into it.
Yeah.
And he was just doing it, and I was like, right, I'm just going to add some chords in down here. So I just started doing some chords down the bass notes. And it was just ages, and he was just there, and he was just completely hypnotised. Completely lost in it.
That look, mate, that you get out of people when they're as arbitrary and basic as what it is that they're doing.
Yeah.
I recognise it myself. We've said this before. When you hit a chord as a kid, and you just go, that just sounds amazing. But to see it in somebody who is adamant that they're fit for nothing, because I saw a lot myself. We were talking briefly earlier about teaching kids who, for whatever reason, have absolutely no self-esteem.
Yeah.
You can just see them, sometimes that light just goes on and go. I mean, and then inevitably the week after it's gone again because they've had the rest of their life to deal with.
Yeah,
but then, I've bumped into a few kids since. I haven't been teaching for 10 years now, but you bump into people every now and again and they go, I loved your lessons. Are you doing anything with it now? No, but that was just enough to keep me going through school. I used to go and be able to play some chords, but it's lovely to see that out of anybody, isn't it?
And I think it's like a form of meditation in a way, because it's like your mind's clear when you're doing it.
Yeah.
I do it. I'll come in from work, so I'm like, I've got loads of stuff to do. Jesus, I'll just sit. Then about an hour later, I've just sat there. I've not thought about anything. I've just been noodling around.
It's that space that you find. I've been thinking.
Meditation is case in point. I've never meditated, but I certainly understand what
you have.
From it.
And then
every time you've played a solo,
but I've never sat down to.
Well, no, I mean, there are many forms. I meditated for
my belief.
I meditated for 18 months. Reached some really kind of heady heights. It is possible, by the way, folks, if you are interested, to achieve hallucinogenic type trips, if you want to call it that, through meditation. It's dead easy, but you just need to keep practicing every day. And I've been thinking of the last 12 months about this sort of correlation. I sit by myself in the dark, I close my eyes, I do my breathing exercises, and I meditate. Alternatively, I get 3 minutes into the first song with a band, I get the nod, and then the first thing I do is switch off. And it's that place immediately, a fast track to that. And it is exactly the same space is what I'm trying to get at, that I've been thinking about this a long time. Slightly different flavour, but exactly the same. I close my eyes and I play most of the time, and all I see in my mind's eye is just pools of red and orange. And I don't know whether that's whether there's any correlation with anything you've noticed.
I don't
And if
know.
it hasn't, have a think
I've
about
got
it.
a set
'cause
of colours, different keys. Like, playing blues, you think a lot about stuff in keys, don't you?
Yeah.
And different keys have got very, very, very vivid colours for me. Like,
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I've
wow.
got brown is D, green is G, E's white, A's red.
Oh,
Wow.
that's interesting.
And the stuff in between, C's yellow. I've never really mapped it out or anything, but I know,
That would be an interesting
I know
thing,
these
and
things,
see whether those.
Look at this, is it the rainbow?
No, exactly that, because that would suggest some kind of because the rainbow
Synchronicity with it, yeah.
for spiritual
But then-
students is the colour system, the
It's
energy
frequency,
system,
isn't
the
it?
chakra system.
Light frequency is what dictates colour.
Yeah.
So presumably, mathematically, certain frequencies link up better with frequencies of music. So then you've got. I mean, I've often wondered, and I don't know.
Well, there are.
Whenever I talk about it, everyone's like, "Well,
No, absolutely. The chakras are linked to sacred tones.
yeah,
And so there are 7 chakras within the body's energy points, and each one has the colour of the rainbow, from the base chakra being red to the crown chakra being violet. And so there has to be some kind of mathematically based colour code that goes along with the sacred tones as well, which have all got very very deep deep meanings to them.
So I'd never really thought about it before, but when you said it then, it just kind of came to me that C would be green for me,
oh right,
and E would be red.
yeah, but that's related, very related.
Yeah. But yeah, just
Green-
as soon as you
green or
mentioned
yellow
it
and
just
then
kind of
red
came
and-
to me. I was like, yeah, well,
'Cause
that's-
E and A,
Is
red
D
and white.
blue?
and I think
Is D
that's-
blue or purple?
D was brown
D's
for you, wasn't it?
yeah.
D for
Ah.
me, a colour's not coming to mind quickly for it. A would be red.
A's red. Yeah.
I think G would be like a dark blue.
I'm going to say A's. I'm going
And
to say
F
A's
sharp would be
green.
an E. Orange even. F sharp would be an E. F sharp would be like an
F
orange.
sharp's black.
Black for you then.
Anyway,
It's just that's weird.
stunningly interesting, but we're boring everyone. I mean, we're not boring each
No,
other, because I
absolutely.
could talk about this for an hour,
So-
but it's...
Then, what? So you got obsessed with playing the guitar, and then how did you express that? How did you get out? What was your first stepping on stage experience? How about that?
First step on stage experience.
Oh.
I was looking, like I said, playing with my uncle, so he just did like, pub gigs and stuff like that, just little things and that. I remember doing one, I know it was my first one, so we did a few like birthday parties and stuff like that. And it was great for me, because I knew like 2 or 3 chords, but my uncle was like very confident and loud, and he'd strum with that, so I could just sit behind him and just kind of try and follow, and it didn't matter if I made any mistakes.
No better way to learn.
Yeah.
And that's the best way to do it, isn't it?
The
I saw-
oral tradition.
I saw a good thing recently of Victor Wooten, a TED Talk. He's talking
Yeah,
about
I
music
saw
and
that.
language. Did you watch it?
Yeah,
It's
and
great,
how you bring kids up with language.
Yeah.
I found it's really interesting. Sorry, I've taken over there.
Yeah.
You bring kids up with language when you're talking. Kids start joining in. All right, hey, woo, woo. Like Elliot, my son, is at that age where he's really beginning to form things, but none of it really makes sense. So there's odd things. But with music, we kind of go, all right, now it's time to sit down and you learn that this relates to a letter, and this is like, and you sit like this, and you do that, and it's really unnatural. Music's just a language. What you need to do is just to talk it around the kids, and the kids will pick it up.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Just let them
Yeah.
get involved with it. Yeah.
And that would make an awesome set of music lessons, in the way that when you walk into a French class or a German class or a Spanish class, they speak to you in those languages. There's very little English spoken, and so you just
Well, there's no better way to learn a language than to just go there and have to do it.
Imagine
Yeah.
yourself in it, yeah.
And so, sorry, we'll rewind.
Back to your first musical experience.
To your first
When
musical
did you-
experience,
first
sorry.
stage experiences, so you would sit sort of.
Yeah, so I sit in with them. But I remember we did one at the O'Neill's in town in Leeds.
Yeah,
I've played that one,
Roscoe,
yeah.
That one.
No, there
No,
was.
that was
there
Maguire's.
were a new ones.
O'Neill's is the one back at Town Hall. I think it's still there in on the corner next to
I'm
the
not sure.
Victoria.
It's been a long time since I've been.
But it was a private party, so we had this room booked out and that. And I was 15 or something like that. I went into, we're in the side room. I set up ready to play and tune it up and stuff like that. It was just acoustic. And then my uncle went to the bar. He left his phone where we were, and his phone went off. So I went out to give it to him. And there must have been the manager or something behind the bar. And he's like, "Oh, have you got any ID?" I was like, "No, I'm playing in the thing." He was like, "Oh, you can't be on the premises if you're under 18." So I was like, "What? We were in the private room and that." But I had to go. But then they took the whole party.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they had to go. But then the whole party came down. We went down to the Town Hall Tavern. So everyone just packed up out of O'Neill's and left and went down there. And we played there instead.
Oh,
it was great.
What were yours?
That showed them.
Yeah.
What were your first gig, Alex?
My first gig, I was the first time I got on stage to play music was in it was like a village hall in somewhere near Tiverton in Devon. My friends had a band and they were playing, and I'd managed to persuade them that it was a good idea that I play harmonica, and they kept. Yeah, they invited me to play a song, and it was difficult to hear and just generally nerve-wracking, and didn't feel that good. But at the same time, it kind of did feel good.
It prompts you to want to do it again, which is kind of the whole idea. Isn't
Well, it also spurred me on to those situations where. You see, I decided to learn to play guitar because I was fed up with nobody telling me what key things were in harmonica. So I'd be
Find out.
Standing on stage and somebody would have to go over to the guitar player. What key are we in? So I was like, right, I'll learn to play guitar, and then I can just look at people's fingers, and then I'll pick the right harmonica. And then guitar got more interesting.
I would say more expression, but possibly
not.
But just a different.
It's a fantastically difficult instrument to be really expressive on. Is the harmonica on a bass level? It's
TJ Norton, by the way, has got it. As Alex has been very what's the word? Humble about it. Both Alex and TJ are awesome blues harp players. Asahi Black, I've never had this before. It's a wild punt in the night, if you'll excuse the pun. So what was Japanese, yeah. The normal Asahi is quite nice.
Yeah,
quite
very crisp,
fresh,
isn't it?
Crisp, yeah.
So remember when they did that Guinness Red?
Yes.
Did you ever try it?
Yes.
I
And
never saw it. I remember hearing lots about it, and I never saw it anywhere.
and Kilkenny used to do it as well. Oh, they used Guinness made Kilkenny. I don't. May I ask how old you are? 25. Oh right, yeah, it's probably a long time.
Youngsters.
Yeah, when I was in my sort of early 20s.
Kilkenny.
Yeah, they had it in Leeds for a long time, and it was reasonable pint. And then I went to Ireland and I saw it on the pot. I said, "Oh, I've had that loads of times." The guy said behind the bar, "You've never had this, son." He says, "No, trust me, we drink it all the time at home." He said, "It's on special. There's no way you could have drunk it." He had no idea they were selling it by thousands of litres in England. But it won't give you a horrendous headache the day after. So anyway, that's I forgot what that tasted like.
Tale of beer. And then did you form a band? Tell me something about this charity event that you were involved in, or charity band.
For the Yogs, yes. This was the band of my uncle. It was I can't remember they had a name when I first joined. Or it was the Gran Yogs. It became the Gran Yogs, which is Gaelic for hedgehogs.
Ah, nice.
So we started doing occasional gigs with that. It was me and my uncle, a woman called Jackie who played guitar and whistles, and she played something else though. But yeah, and my friend Paddy was in it for a bit as well. It was just acoustic stuff, and then we started doing the odd gigs, and it was like we kind of realised that we're not making any money out of this. We're not, it's like. And but we lost one of my other uncles died of cancer. In I can't remember, it was 2007, maybe something like that. Much later than that. Anyway, so then we decided that we'd start doing all the band stuff for cancer research. So all the gigs we'd do, we'd donate the fee to cancer research and do have buckets and stuff going around. And it just kind of took off. It started like gigs that would be better attended and people would be putting lots of money in, and we started getting raffle prizes and things like that. And it just kind of built up and built up. I mean, my uncle did he did amazing work organising stuff and contacting. We had the Rhinos would always give us loads of signed shirts and samples and stuff like that. We had Nizloppy, who did the JCB song. That was big at the time.
Oh yeah.
And my dad's
oh man, I just break down immediately on hearing the first few chords of that. I have no idea why. Yeah. I can't hear it. I've been halfway through conversations in pubs and just gone boom, out the door. Yeah. 4.5 minutes, and then come back in. I had to get away from it, get away from the building, so I can't even hear it. I have no idea. It has such an emotional trigger in me that I just can't listen to it. There's a few like that.
Even when you're on your own.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You can't do the whole song.
I can't do the first 16. I can't do the 16-bar intro, man. Really, I don't know. I have no idea why. Sorry. Anyway, carry on.
What you need to do is you need to sit down and listen to that song to the end and find out what it is that it's.
I think we should put it on now and see what happens.
No. Well, I mean, now the thing is, you can.
No, that's like therapy, isn't it? You've got to hold the fucking spider.
And trust me, and trust me when I say this, you could put it on and I would cry like a baby, and I'd have no shame in that because I think you pair of bastards. It's not really necessary.
What I meant was that the journey through the whole song, instead of you running away from it all the time, you need to confront it. You need to feel.
I'll tell you what happens. When the tempo changes 3/4 way through the song, and it goes to that sort of repeated chorus, then I kind of the sorrow has passed, and so I can listen to the end bit and just go, oh yeah, it's just a pop song. But I don't know.
It is a sad story though. Well, the story of the song was that he was bullied a lot when he was a kid, and then. But his dad had taken him out of school and taken him out on the building site and let him drive around the JCB. Yeah. And that was like, the best day for him because he wasn't getting picked on. He was out driving the JCB with his dad.
It's beautiful. I think that any reference to the love of dad and his son, it's kind of.
I thought you were going to say the love of a JCB.
Talking about the construction industry.
The love of a JCB has got to be a good thing in my book.
Any music construction links.
Again.
Well, that's it.
Again, but it's just anything like that just crushes me because we've all got bits of our childhood that nobody's got a perfect childhood and nobody goes around going, I had an horrible childhood. Well, most people don't, but. Anything that I see a link between a man and his son, it kills me. By the way, if anybody's not seen The Road,
that's my favourite book
with the guy out of the guy that plays
Lord of the Rings.
Who is it?
Viggo Mortensen.
Viggo Mortensen.
Is he not?
He's Aragorn.
Aragorn. I didn't even realise it was him. I watched the entire film. And then somebody said, "Oh yeah, it's the one with the guy who plays." And I said, "No, I don't think it is." But then I just watched the kind of
father and son. It's like a post-apocalyptic thing. There's been some disaster. I'll tell you what it is.
Stunning.
It's this father and son, the man and the boy. They don't have names. They just call the man and the boy in it. And they're trying to go south because it'll be warmer there. And it's just like a grey cloud.
You've said nothing at the ending, but it is crushing.
The whole it's just. But the thing about it is it's
spoiler alert.
They're trying to. So the man's trying to kind of keep the humanity in the son, even though everyone's there's a few survivors, but they've turned to cannibalism and stuff like that, and it's like there's packs of cannibals roaming around. But he's trying to he's still trying to raise his son, to be good and kind of
And it is
the light inside him.
it is one of the very few films over the last 10 years that I've actually watched and not switched after 20 minutes and gone, bullshit, seen it before. Do you know what I mean? That it's a really well made
You've
film.
not been to Jurassic World, then, or Jurassic whatever.
I still watched it. No, absolutely. I love pieces because at the end of the day, it's an art form, isn't it? And there are only certain films that stick out for me. Even when I've enjoyed a film, I'll just forget it. And apart from probably 10, if I think really hard, that have really moved me to the core with either the way the screenplay works, or the writing, or the acting, or the characterization.
The road is just spectacular.
It is a but it's a spectacularly dark kind of study.
You speak to a lot of people like, it was so dark, like I didn't like it. So that's part of the beauty of it.
That's it,
that
exactly.
darkness.
It's not supposed to. Not every film's supposed to make you have a brilliant time, But it's in a category of 2 for me with Requiem for a Dream as a film that blew me away, but I will never watch it again. And that I think that's probably the same with The Road.
I feel a bit like that about Requiem for a Dream.
It had that much impact, it was stunning, but I'll never watch it again.
I've read the book at least 3 times, if not 4. Now of The Road. I've read Cormac McCarthy is my favourite author. I just fell in love with that. When I read that book, I think first I read it in 2 days, then I read it again in a day. It's not a big book anyway, but it's just gripping. It's just and it's just so beautiful.
I only read books because I'm not a big sort of fiction or non-fiction reader, but I will read books that are putting me on to read that, by people I respect, and it's quite striking how good writing can make you absolutely throw the book away and laugh your head off for 20 minutes before you can compose yourself enough to pick the book up again.
A great book is a wonderful thing.
Yeah, or they pull you in, don't they? And you're lost. It's
I'm in the Game of Thrones saga at the minute. I'm on a Feast for Crows at the minute. The 5th book. But the 4th book, if you count it in parts. There's like book 3 and 4. That's part of one book.
Yeah.
One of them kind of jobs. But it's just
they are cracking. They are cracking books.
Amazing.
But diverting back to the charity, I read that they raised quite a lot of money.
Yeah, so it was Nizlock we were on to, wasn't it? So they donated stuff. So basically, we got lots of stuff donated. But in the end, we raised over 20 grand.
Wow.
Cancer research,
That's quite a feat.
I forget about it all the time. That actually happened, and that was that's an amazing achievement, really.
You can be proud of yourselves,
And was that all through the band?
Yep, all through music stuff. So we did. We did lots of gigs where we'd have like a raffle or an auction and stuff like that as well. But we started doing Uncle had this great idea, obviously because we were an Irish band. St Patrick's Day was a big do, but trying to do one gig on St Patrick's Day. So we had a couple, and we raised a bit, and then he had this great idea of doing. Why don't we just, because especially when you're doing fundraising, if you're in a place for a whole evening, you've got the same crowd, then they'll give you money, and they've only got so much to give. So why don't we go around different pubs? So the first year
mobile band.
Yeah, we did 10 pubs in the day, because it was acoustic as well. You didn't have to plug it in anywhere, so it was easy to just. I think we had 5 or 6 songs in each pub. I lined them up. We contacted all these different places. First year, I think we started at the Grove. Did like 12 till 1 at the Grove, then we did 1 till 2 at the Hop, then we did 2 till 3 somewhere else. Then we had an hour off somewhere, I think, and we did Maguire's, and we did the Hop. I did the Hop already, no? I can't remember where I played now. We did the Duck and Drake 1 year, we did one the first year. We finished in the casino.
Oh, nice!
Nobody was. It was like 11 till 12 or something at night. And we did Hoagies 1 year. Hoagies was good.
Upstairs or downstairs? Ramp full table.
But we did this casino last one night, and I remember there was just all these people on the machines. Nobody painting us out.
Blind bed.
We were just in the cars. There's whiskey in the
Yeah, can I just go back to this? It had absolutely no impact on me, but the aftertaste is kind of, there's a really sort of burnt caramel type flavour. Very, very nice. I'll recommend that one. That's Asahi Black.
Yeah, it's very good.
But yes, that was great. And then we we did that twice, 2 St Patrick's Day like marathon things.
Yeah.
The second year though, because after it's that you learn by doing. The first year we kind of realised the early afternoon slot was a bit quiet in most pubs. Not many people in.
Yeah.
So the year after that, we decided we'd busk. So we got 3 spots around
Wow,
Leeds.
there's
We
no
did.
getting stuck in, is there?
Yeah.
Nice one.
We did outside the Corn Exchange. We did Victoria Quarter. We did outside WH Smith. So that obviously those spots were a lot busier than the pubs would be at that time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was great. We did lots of good stuff with that, really.
I was in an Irish band.
Yeah.
We had the worst name in the world.
What was that?
Paddy Crack.
Paddy Crack.
It was awful. I was ashamed of it. But I did like playing fiddle, so...
You play fiddle?
I was a classical violinist early doors, but then when I met my wife, she was like, I just stopped playing a year before, and she said, you've done what, you stopped playing? So, well, how about all this folk stuff and all this, and I'm like, the Levelers were big then, and I'm like, oh, I've never heard any of that, she said, oh, listen to this, and then, I did a good few years doing Irish folk, and then I got kind of bored of watching our lead singer shouting, who wants a rebel song in wrong type of pub. Somebody get up and walk out and give them the fingers and the stare and all that. So and then I joined the only sort of pure pro band I ever played in called the Muldoon Brothers, and we did kind of Southern State stuff, similar sort of thing to, like, I guess if the Pogues played kind of bluegrass and Southern State stuff.
That was the flip side of we never played rebel songs, but occasionally at the gigs you get someone go, play a rebel song, play a rebel song.
Yeah, I mean, keep politics out of music for me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well,
Yeah, Phil Lynott had the best idea. Just come out and play rock songs that everyone's gonna like, and then you don't have to have any arguments over, the decisions to play those tunes. Where were we?
So then, did you form a band, or so that ended? Did it the Yogs?
Yeah. So we had to change the name from the Gran Yogs to the Yogs because nobody could ever spell or remember the Gran Yogs. And then I went and formed the Blind Ed McJones Band, which nobody can remember that name either.
No,
There was something about maybe I don't want people to be able to find us.
Yeah, well, it does have its advantages. People actually being able to find out who you are and stuff.
Yeah.
So you're telling me you're a Telecaster man?
Yeah, Telecaster man. Because I'm a massive Bruce Springsteen fan. I'm
Right.
obsessed with Bruce Springsteen.
Okay.
My dad's a big Springsteen fan, so I kind of grew up with Bruce. And then it was people always find interesting. Now, Bruce got me into playing blues, which seems like an unusual route.
Well, there are still definite, I think, influences from all that. Well, I mean, there is in everything, isn't there?
For me, it was It was I was just watching Bruce. I think I just had the acoustic, but then I had these Springsteen DVDs, and he's busts out these big guitar solos on the live shows. I just loved it. I was watching him. I was like, yeah, now I want to do that. So then I had to get an electric guitar and try and learn how to play these big solos. And then I got into the idea of guitar solos, and then I followed that through to Clapton, and then followed through to Buddy Guy and B.B. King and stuff. And then
all the usual suspects then, isn't it? It's strange that how if you go anywhere near that style of music, that you get onto one and somebody says, oh, if you like them, you like that. So you're like, thank you, and then and then everyone, people of our musical style, that kind of sort of blues led or blues fed styles, then you all, I guess if we all put our 20 favourite guitar players down, they probably all knew each other as friends,
Yeah. That's one of the things I love about blues music, is that it seems very communal. compared to other
Yeah.
genres, that the blues players seem to be much happier to play with each other
Yeah.
than in other, like the other big stars in other genres.
Mm.
Don't seem to collaborate as much as blues players do, I don't think.
And if they do, it's because the record companies
there's a
lift
real
them up
tradition.
rather than they wanted to.
Of the blues jam as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, what are we going to play? Well, the 12 bar. We know where we're going to be.
Yeah.
And so that's the starting point often for playing with people who of whatever style anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
You go, all right, well, it's basically a
Everybody
blues.
knows the 12 bar blues, so yeah, you're right.
And then, yeah, I mean, obviously then that ends up in tepid jam sessions in pubs up and down the country, doesn't it? But
Yeah.
it's a starting point. Again, you know, one of my early stage experiences was getting up at, you know, jam sessions. Well, can I get up and play? All right, yeah.
At 17 years old,
Keep you
absolutely
waiting
shitting
till the
yourself.
end of the night.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But then you know you get your chance and you're up there, and
Yeah.
and that geezer over there is like the kid you've been watching, you know, with your mouth open for 2 years, and he's gone. Come on, you can get up on this one. It's
Yeah.
like, I love all that.
That
you know.
process is just amazing.
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. Speaking about getting a guitar because your hero played it, I got when I was about 17, 18, I did loads of overtime. I was working evenings as well as days to save up, and I got a Gibson Firebird 5, just like Clapton's out of Cream.
Yeah.
And I'd already bought Bill Nelson from Bebop Deluxe. I'd bought his non-master volume 2x12 JTM 45 or something.
His actual one.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause he's kind
why
of local, isn't he?
why I sold it?
Is he local? Bill
Yeah.
Nelson?
Yeah. Is it Ebden or
Not
something
far.
like that?
Not far, is it?
It sounded exactly like the Wheels of Fire album. You know, it's just like, you know, it just that being able to have that sound
Yeah.
was just stunning. And then obviously I got into Stevie Ray Vaughan and sold it all for a pittance and bought myself a
That's right.
Stratocaster, but I've never gone back.
We
for
all
it.
have to go through Steve Ray Vaughan, though, don't we? You know, I mean, there's a certain point where you just marvel at it, and then you kind of.
And then you go back to
listen
Jimi Hendrix.
everything he did. But,
Yeah.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, there's one or two highlights still from
Oh.
Stevie Ray Vaughan, but I mean, you know, he's just somebody like me, or somebody like you, or somebody like you. He's somebody who loved Jimi Hendrix and loved the blues and played a lot of cover tunes.
Yeah.
You know, wrote a few of his own, which were good, but he's got his own style, that really sort of jarring, groovy sort of Texas blues style. Yeah. Oh, it took me so long to learn to play, to do that. I just do it really, really slowly for hours and hours until you get that, because it's not a dotted rhythm. It's not da 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 da. It's da da da. It's so lazy, but it took a long
Get
time
that
to
bass
play.
note in as well. And,
Muting everything except for the bass note on the way down, and then muting everything except for the top few strings on the way up. Yes, really difficult.
I remember going through a phase when I've had my telly for a long time, but I went through a phase where I thought we're getting a Strat for a while. When I got really into Nils Lofgren, it was Bruce's other guitarist.
Right,
So
okay.
he plays a Strat. But then one time I really wanted a Gretsch Billy Bow, because like ZZ Top, one of my other big ones, Billy Gibbons is.
Oh, early doors, they
Potentially.
were stunning
Yeah,
band.
yeah. Billy's potentially my favourite guitarist of all time, all rounder for his lead stuff and his rhythm playing. He's just, I love it.
I love a groove.
Yeah.
That's like the real thing that stands out for me on those ZZ Top records. Is
Was that
just
Tuesday?
a groove.
Jesus went down to
He's
Texas.
just left Chicago.
Jesus left. Oh, wow.
New Orleans, yeah. Amazing. We did that on Saturday and I completely ballsed it up. We've been doing it for ages. And it was just, you know, in terms of you just completely blank on something.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what?
The moment when you
That's
realise
why
that you're not thinking of anything and
Yeah.
your front of mind consciousness comes back and you go, What? Just
What am I
stop.
doing?
Hang on, I'm singing, I'm playing, I'm tapping my foot, I'm listening to the bass guitar and the drums. And
I'm playing with a band on a stage. Fuck. Oh. Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, I went through a phase where I wanted to get a Gretsch Billy bow.
Yeah.
Seen them, the ones that was kind of Bo Diddley gave Billy Gibbons
Yeah,
his guitar,
yeah.
and then he kind of customised it a bit himself. And I mean, they look amazing, look really cool.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, I was sure they were about 300 quid. This was, I was thinking, I can get one of these. I was going around all the shops asking if they had them in, and I've not got any, but we can get one. And then they were about $3,000. I must have just missed off one of the digits.
I was going to say, I don't know where you got 300 quid for any Gretsch. I suppose there's some cheap ones being made now, but certainly.
I was adamant I was going to get one for about 350 quid, but we were about 3,500. I must have just missed off it. So it's a good job it never came through.
When you gave us your quick bio over Facebook message, I thought that the Yogs had £2,000, and I thought, oh, that's really awesome. But you know,
it's
20, that's amazing.
This one I mentioned.
Yeah, what have we got?
I mentioned
Take us
this
into the break with our beer.
Right, I'm assuming.
Oh, it's pale. It's Sierra Nevada Pale.
Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. This is one that I alluded to last week, I think, or the last episode. This is the beer that within 12 hours in America I realised, actually they can make beer. It's not all Budweiser and whatever Coors Light. This is stunning. It's a really well crafted pale ale.
They also have that smokestack. That's the kind of house bottle, isn't it? It's the Sierra Nevada.
Is it?
One of them. They have a lot of beers, but
I've
you
not
know,
seen
it's
that one.
a good reason to go to Smokestack.
It's a good
If you're watching Smokestack, give us a gig. And I should phone you.
Yeah, us too. I want another gig.
Webcast isn't the best way to punt for gigs, is it?
Smokestack, get in touch.
Yeah, well, why not? I mean, you know, we're here. If you're watching, if anybody knows Smokestack, tell them to give us a ring.
But we all need a gig. But Paul Middleton played at Smokestack, yeah?
Paul Middleton band don't play anywhere apart from when people actually get Paul.
It's a good gig, but there's
push
a lot
Paul
of stairs.
into a corner.
Yeah,
and then
it's
say,
one of the worst load-ins.
Paul, would you like a gig? Yeah. Would you like us to sort it out?
It's getting a bit like that with CrossCut.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But again, if you want to find Paul and do that, that's
yeah, absolutely.
We're going to leave it. Excuse me, we're going to leave it for this hour. Thanks for joining us. Sierra Nevada Pale Ale.
We'll see you next week.
Cheerio.
Yes.
Cheers, fellas.
Nice.
Stunning. Do you want to play music, mate?
I'm going, yeah.